Hi guys, in this video we're going to take a look at some iCase setups for a bendy arm. So this is going to be something that's a little bit more like Bender from Futurama or Robbie the Robot, or stuff that's not really as realistic as having a sort of a proper elbow joint. So this is going to be something where the whole arm kind of bends rather than it just pivoting around one section. Now, one of the issues that you can have with this is that, technically speaking, because there's really no proper elbow joint, you can actually end up with kind of a little bit of a weird, difficult to control setup if you just keep the arm completely straight. So what I'm going to do is add just a tiny little bit of a bend to this arm. At the moment, let me just turn this off. At the moment, basically, these joints, I've got the shoulder joint here, and then 3 arm joints, and then the wrist joint. Now, at the moment, these 3 arm joints are completely lined up with one another. Okay, and that's a bit of a problem, because the IK is not going to know which direction the elbow is supposed to bend in. Even though there's no technical elbow for this. So what I'm going to do is kind of give it a bit of an elbow anyway, just fractionally, so that there will be a little bit of a guidance for the IK. So all I'm doing here is just nudging the joints forward just a fraction, like this, just a fraction. And this is going to mean that this joint here is a little bit sort of off center. But what you can do is just run a orient joint from the skeleton menu just here, orient joint, on the maybe on the shoulder joint, and that should realign your joints running down here. Now, that can affect your thumb joints and mess those up if you have already set your joints up for your thumb. If you've got an opposable thumb and you've done the rotations for that, what you can do is unparent the thumb. So if you hit Shift P, like that, that way when you run the orient joint tool, it will affect all the arm joints down through the fingers, but it's not going to reset your opposable thumb rotations if you have those. If you don't have those, then you don't really need to worry about it. You can just run the orient joint. So basically go skeleton, orient joint, and basically what it'll do is it'll just kind of realign everything. You can see there that I've had a little, there is a bit of an issue with those finger joints. They've actually flipped for some reason, and they're all on sort of weird angles. So if I undo those, that's probably going to be because all 3 of these joints are connected to one joint here. What this is going to do is try and realign itself a little bit, and then it's going to throw those out of whack. So you can actually unparent the fingers as well, like this. You just grab those knuckles and hit Shift P, and that disconnects them. And what that'll do is basically allow all of the arms to kind of realign themselves properly, so you don't get that sort of weird twisting. So we'll just go orient joint, okay, and then what you can do is just reconnect the fingers in. Now I'm finding that this wrist joint for some reason keeps flipping upside down just here. So you can see here that the axis on the hand joint is, the vertical axis is Y, but on this one that's gone off to the side. So to fix that, what we can do is once again go into the orient joint, but go into the options, switch toggle local axis visibility on, like this. Switch over to component mode at the top here. Make sure we've got the question mark miscellaneous button active, and then just click on that axis, and then just use your rotate tool. Hold down the J key to constrain or make it snap when it rotates, and just rotate it around until the Y axis on that joint matches the Y axis on the hand. So you can see now I've got Y is up, Z is off to the side, and that's the same as this. And then all you do is you go back to object mode over here, and then switch off the location, the local axis visibility again, and that just switches it off. And then what you can do is just select your, you just grab your first knuckles of all of your fingers and your thumb, shift select the hand and press P to parent, and that'll connect it all back together without any of them moving. Bit of a hassle, but sometimes you won't realize that that's sort of an issue until you actually get up to that point in the rig. So let's throw an IK handle onto here. So I'm going to go up to the skeleton tool, down to create IK handle. So we'll go into the options here, and I'm going to use a rotate plane solver again. Even though there's no technically not an elbow, we still need to be able to control the direction that the handle moves in or points in. So then what I'm going to do is click on the shoulder joint just here, and then I'll click down on the wrist joint, and you can see here that because we've made a slight bend in the joint, the rotation plane is pointing backwards, and that's exactly what we want. We want this to essentially act like a knee. So when I grab the handle here, you can see now it basically bends along sort of all of those joints. Okay, it is bending a little bit more on the joint that I adjusted, but we are still getting a basic bend going across the entire length of that limb. Okay, so that's the basic process for setting up your IK for your arm. Okay, now we don't do any IK for the fingers or anything like that. It's a bit of a overkill, so really it's just that rotate plane solver there. Okay, I'll leave this video here nice and short, and I'll see you again soon.